Good evening. Yeah, I know we have been not able to make a classes for I think last week, 2 days, I think Thursday and Friday, because I'm sick. And even today is also I'm not good, but fine. I mean, I do have basically a throat pain, so I couldn't able to speak much time. But today I'm somewhat better than last 3 days. Okay, let's get started. So I think we'll spend a little time on today, as much as possible, like 1 hour or less than 1 hour, based on my pain. So and then tomorrow we'll have a class at 7:30 only, with our regular timings. Okay, okay, let's get started, guys. Yeah. Okay. In the last class, what we have talked about is we have talked, and of course, I think on probably this week we are going to complete the entire our course. But we has been, I mean, we have talked about the AWS WAF. That is what we discussed in the last classes. We completed it. This is one of the security feature and AWS is providing, and we are going to deal with the AWS Shield. This is also one of the AWS managed provider, I mean, manager services, which is against especially the DDoS area. This is like all kinds of security will be protection we provided. In case of AWS Shield exclusively, this is for the DDoS attacks. Okay, so and then we will talk about the Docker and network security tools in one class, and we'll talk about the SAST, DAST, IAST tools about in one class, and then we'll talk about the ELK Splunk related another class, and probably security frameworks and standards. These are all the theoretical part. We can talk overall things, but this would definitely ask for an interview. I mean, they might ask you what are the security frameworks you know. Do you know if I mean this is like one line of answer they might expect you, but at least we should be knowing. That's why we included here. This is just like a 20 minutes or 15 minutes class only. Okay, probably this week will be get completed. Now let's talk about the AWS Shield here. Okay. Okay, before talking about the AWS Shield, right, we need to talk about the different types of or basically different types of attacks on web applications. Okay, so this these are the top 10 WASP, or these are the top 10 the attacks which are being on a web applications. Okay, those are cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery, XML XXE, injection attacks, fission testing, DDoS attacks, brute force attack, and path traverse. Okay, these are the attacks they would be doing or attacking on our web application or our infrastructure. Okay, I mean, as an infrastructure engineer or as a DevOps engineer, what you do is you have to make sure that at least the application side of an infrastructure should be secured. Okay, now this cross-site scripting will be enabled or will be injected or will be used because of the code which they have written is not a right way of thing. Meaning this kind of attacks happens because of a code. This kind of attack is also happening because of the configuration of a web server. This kind of an attack is also happening because of a misconfiguration of a server. This kind of injection attacks will happen because of a code which they have written was not enough to handle such kind of attacks. Okay, and this is also, I think, I don't know, this is first time I'm hearing first testing. I don't know, and this one is attacks, meaning if you are not if you have not configured your web server or web application configuration not properly, it would lead to DDoS attacks, okay, DOS attack basically, then DDoS attacks. Okay, so for every type of attack, they would be applying, or what I could say, because of the code which they have written was not right way. I mean correct way, or the way that they have configured the web application was not the right one. These are the two issues which we can lead if some attack is happening. Okay, now especially the AWS Shield is in the area of the AWS Shield is dealing exclusively for the DDoS types attack. AWS WAF is dealing couple of things. Okay, uh, a couple of things, not only this. Okay, that is the area where a shield would be applying. Okay, I hope you understand where this fits in. Okay, now let's talk about what exactly the DDoS. I mean, first, let's attack. Let's talk about the uh, DOS attack. DOS attack means denial of service. Denial of service means you are exposing a web application that is like a service. Okay, you are offering a service. What they do is, they'll if someone has bring you a service, it what does it do? The service won't be available to serve any request. Same thing. So basically, if someone is trying to request you for a service, it is getting denied because the service was being downstate. That is nothing but a denial of service. Basically what they do is, they will keep on hit your service. For example, if I hit a google.com, for example, we open a terminal and then do a ping www.google.com. What they do is, for every microsecond or for every millisecond, it will keep on keep on sending a request to Google server. Okay, what does it do is, Google will respond to you. Okay, I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm replying. I mean, we are keep on getting a reply from the Google server. If even that server has also some kind of a bandwidth, it's a keep on responding you for a particular time. For example, if the Google server is using the Apache web server, Apache web server has a limit in it. Per max, per minute, it can handle 2500 requests. This was a world data. Okay, more than 2500 requests, Apache server can't able to respond to your request. If your request is more than 2500 requests, for example 2600 request is yours, you can't get a response for your request. And what they'll tell you is, yeah, I'm already busy, I can't make it work, or it will be down. That's it. It cannot do beyond its capacity. So what the attackers would do is, they will do the same thing with by attacking, or by writing a some shell script and then keep on pinging. They will make our server busy for always. They won't even they won't send the request from a one device. They will do a request from a multiple devices. That is like they will distribute their attack target. Their attack their attack plan from a distributed manner. Okay, so that is where it will come as a distributed of denial of service. Okay, I'll show you what does it mean here. Here, see this. Here, this is your target server. Target server could be your web application or your application or anything. What they do is, hacker will write us some code. What does it do is, instead of hitting from one server, they'll have a multiple master nodes. These master nodes will connected with their clients. These clients will keep on hitting this target server. This target server will keep on responding for some time. At particular time, it will give a heads up saying that I can't able to serve all these requests. Finally, your service will be down. Okay, this is like a denial of service. When you say multiple, this guy is from a one resources, right? But if it is happening from a multiple resources or multiple times, right, this distributor of denial service will be get attacked. Okay. Now if you ask me how they would do how they would do. Of course, it is our beyond scope, but I'm still we are on the line, right? I want to show you. This would definitely help you, but it's fine. How they would implement is they would write us some shell script. Okay. Let me shell script. What they do is there are some see, this is a some simple shell script. What they do is they'll putting in a while loop, and the duration is 50, and duration immediately 5 times into 50. Almost 250 requests will be go at a single times here. Okay, what they do is they just keep on hitting the ping, 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 and that's it. For it won't even sleep for. I mean, the sleep time is also very small response time. So ultimately, this is how they would be using it. This is a shell script, and this is a IP address or target address. They would be doing it, and 50 times of continuously 5 times. So almost 250 hits will happen per second. That's how they would be planning here. So simply they will write a small shell script, and then they will execute from a VPN servers. It will distributed from across and then executed. This is a simple web application. In order to, I mean, this is a attacker side we have just we have just discussed. Now let's talk about the how a cyber expert or how a security expert is going to prevent these kind of attacks from a different different insectors or hackers by using AWS Shield here. Okay, so now we understand about the what is a DOS attack and what is a DDoS attack, which means a distributed. Okay, now let's talk about the AWS Shield itself. Okay, now what exactly the Shield is? It is exclusively main or uh, this is one of the AWS resources. Okay, this is one of the AWS managed resources. You would be applying particular resources. Okay, if you remember, we have applied WAF rules on 4 types of resources. Okay, API gateway, application load balancer, Fargate, which is a EKS cluster, and there are a few more things we have applied the WAF. Similarly, AWS Shield also you can apply on a couple of things. Okay, for example, you can apply the AWS Shield on EC2, ELB, Route 53, and also use on the Lambda service also. Okay, so there are two things here in AWS Shield. Those are like a 1 minute thing. I'll just show you this one. This, if you see here, for example, we have a ELB, ECS, EPA, Route 53, S3, the Lambda, all these services. What we do is we will apply either WAF or firewall manager or WAF on these resources, right? Now you are applying these things on a individual resources. But in case of a shield, right, you can combine all these kind of resources together and apply in a one shot. That is nothing but a AWS shield itself. Okay, they are shielding it, meaning by combining all the resources together. Okay, when you are applying these shield, you can consider there are 2 types of shields or shields there are present. One is a shield standard, one is a shield advanced. So these are the two things we will be using in a AWS Shield here. I'll show you. These are the best thing is AWS Shield. Okay, there are, as I mentioned here, right? These are the two major things here. 2 types of shields. First, you need to enable this AWS Shield. if you want to enable, you have to choose what type of shield you want to enable, either shield advanced, either shield standard. These are the two things that you would be applying it here. Okay, this is an example of the differences between, or the how it will handle a situation between a WAF. Okay, as I mentioned here, AWS WAF is a generic one, meaning it can handle multiple types of attacks. But in case of AWS Shield, it is can exclusively expertise in DDoS attacks. Okay, and majorly it will work on the layer 3 and layer 4, which is nothing but a network layer and transport layer. But in case of WAF, it is applying on a layer 7, which is exclusively HTTP and HTTPS request. Here it is a TCP. These it will handle at these layer 3 and level 4, which is a TCP and UDP level attacks. Okay. Now I want to talk about the AWS Shield standard, and I hope you understand what I'm talking about here. Okay. So basically, two things in AWS. There are multiple ways of, not like multiple, almost 3 to 4 resources are available in AWS resources for the security aspect. WAF, which is a web application firewalls. Another one is AWS Firewall Manager, which is equivalent to our local firewall tables in every Linux machine. A third one is AWS Shield. We already discussed about the AWS WAF. We are currently discussing the Shield. You can apply the WAF on a resources basis, not a group of resources. But in case of AWS, group all the resources together and apply a shield. So your entire group of resources will be protected from a DDoS attacks. Okay, this is a difference what we were been talking about. Now let's talk about the okay. This is a you can navigate to your AWS account, and then you can talk about the you can talk about the AWS Shield and AWS Shield. See, we can talk about the major thing is we are not going to create or we are not going to subscribe a shield anyway, because it is a $3,000 per month. Once we subscribe, our bill will be 3,000. Okay, so we are not going to create any of the shield, or we are not going to subscribe. We are just going to navigate it, and we are not going to, I mean, we are just navigating around it, but we are not going to subscribe it anywhere here. Okay, so basically here it is giving you some kind of a how much activity is happen for or how much of activity of AWS Shield is protected from globally. Okay, so it is almost 2,35,000 kind of attacks it is got uh, faced, and almost all kind of attacks are normal levels, not a major or critical. And especially these kind of flooded types of attacks is happen, meaning if what attack is happening, it won't come as a single request, it will kind like a flood. Okay, your request can't even handle properly. So that kind of attacks it is majorly seen in the attacks of records. Okay. And totally it is handled around at the speed of 830 Gbps, and one packet attack, right? Whenever you request a ping command, right, it will send you a packet. The packet will have some kind of a size, okay, and size, and as well as a speed of it. So it is happened 178 Mbps of speed it is handled. It sent up packets. So it kind of it is handled. So this many, this is the data based on the last 2 weeks. This AWS Shield is handled across the globe. This is what the summary AWS Shield is providing here. Okay, currently I don't have anything subscribed because of the highest rate. So no, even small companies or startup companies won't adapt or won't use this shield. But in MNC companies and medium-sized organizations will be faced or will be adopt this kind of a security resource from AWS. Okay, but not all companies will adopt because of the price issue. Okay, and as I mentioned here, right, there are two types of shields if you want to adopt. One is a standard, another one is a advanced. If you see here, standard is a free and enabled by default. Once you start a shield, it will be enabled by default once you started it. Okay, that is a standard only. If you ask me what are the offerings provided by the standard, here is the things. There is a one more thing, AWS Shield of an advanced, and it will apply, it will charge you based on a monthly, that is a $3,000. Okay, and if you ask me the differences, AWS standard, Shield of a standard is monitor the network also. That will happen in the standard and advanced side. But in case of automated application, if you want exclusively scan the all HTTP requests, this will be, if you want, for example, you have hosted a web application and you have enabled a SSL on it, and you want to transfer or you want to monitor only HTTPS request, then what you do is you would be applying, standard won't monitor layer 7, which is not a which is a HTTPS request. It won't monitor, but in case of AWS Advanced, it will monitor the HTTPS also here. And one more thing is, it will mitigate. Mitigate means the kind of a solution or kind of a workaround. In case of a standard, it will provide for the underlying service of AWS. But in case of a customized detection, for example, you want to find, okay, I want DDoS attacks. I want to block DDoS attacks exclusively from a China, exclusively from a Russia, exclusively from the USA. This is a kind of a customization you want to do it. This is a small criteria filter, which I just told you, but there are a lot of criterias, like, exclusively for the darknet website, or exclusively for these VPNs, exclusively for the malicious targets, malicious IPs. Okay, all these kind of data they will be getting from a dark sites, or they will be collectively, this kind of data will be provided open source or open data sets, or sometimes it will be available for the dark nets also. What they do is they'll find those data and they'll put in their restrictions list. So if any request is coming from those kind of a compromised network, compromised IPs, it will just detect it. So this is like a customized thing. This won't be enabled on the default of a standard, but it is available on the advanced machine. And one more thing is, it will detect also. And one more thing is, layer 3 and layer 4 is not available for the standard, but it is available for the layer 7. Okay, these are the lot of things that will be provided between the standard and advanced shield area. And if you ask me, event visibility and reporting it, meaning if any attack is happened, if you are in a standard shield, you won't get that report, and even you won't get an analysis of also. But in case of a shield of advanced, you will get a complete analysis. Okay, okay, I got attacked. That's it. That information you would get if it is a standard. If you adopted the shield of advanced, you will get what kind of attack, analysis of, like, what does it attack, what is an impact of it, how do we mitigate, what is a sample example, what is a complete write-up for that entire attack. You would be getting a complete write-ups. Okay, and you won't get a cloud matrix if it is a standard, but you would get a cloud matrix which is like a complete logs here. Okay, And one more thing is you would get a 24/7 support from AWS Shield response. You know, right? This is a very crucial. Okay. Sometimes once our website got hacked, right? What we do is we need to respond or we need to immediately mitigate that kind of an issues. Okay. That to make sure that should be work, we have to sometimes approach the AWS support team also here. And there are a lot of factors like 24/7 support, cost efficiency, status and price, like you can't able to subscribe. And one more thing is, see here, $3,000 per month plus additional data transfer. Mean is, if you are keep on increasing the data transfer, like if you are adapting or what I say, if you are uh, if you are transferring the data, like if they are sending a lots of payloads, that payloads can malicious code, and based on that size it handles also, it will cost you. That is the meaning of the additional data transfer fees here. Okay. And one more thing is, these are the some of the benefits of an compared with the standard here. Okay. This is what I want to talk about here. One more thing is, it's basically if you are using any of these things, right, it will be easy to use. And if you want to set up the shield on your own, you have to spend a lot of time and cost also. But in case of if you are using a shield here, it is very easy to use because you are not maintaining all the infrastructure in order to protect from an attacks. Okay. AWS Shield is providing you for itself. Okay. And even when you, if you are managed on your own versus if you adapt from AWS, it is also cost efficient, meaning if you are managing the same solution on your own, if it is charging you, I mean, the cost, it occurred around $100 for you, right? If you adapt the same thing in AWS, it will be around 700 or $800. It is somewhat better than what you are managing on your own, right? That's why it is a cost efficient also here. And one more thing is, the basic thing is, the major protection, I mean the major benefits if we adapt the standard versus advanced is, I mean advanced, first thing is you are getting a mitigations means you are getting a kind of a solutions. Okay, you got this attack, please do change this configuration of this, the workaround, how do you mitigate or how do you solve it. This you would get in advance. And one more thing is, you would getting a traffic monitoring, but it won't happen, you won't get in the standard part of it. These are the another two major difference, I mean two major benefits over the standard to advanced here. Okay. And moreover, metrics, real-time metrics means it won't show you like a half an hour delay logs, it will show you the live logs. Okay. And it will report you. Okay. And one more thing is, if you adapted the advanced shield in your thing, it will also use the AWS WAF also. You don't need to explicitly configure the WAF itself, because it will internally use it. Okay. This is the major thing. And moreover, I want to talk about, I'll just show you this also here. I mean, currently I don't have anything here, which is nothing but a I've not even subscribed to the Shield. I'm just going over the basics. And if I subscribed here, I'll get a $3,000 bill for a month. So I don't want to do this. And you also don't do that. Okay. So just go and see this. You would, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, most of the companies won't use it because the cost. If they think they can affordable, they would definitely adopt. How they would affect is, I mean, how they would rely is, they'll have their own internally security team. Okay, so that's how they would be doing it here. But in case of if they don't have any security, they will be depending on the AWS Shield also here. If you have it, how many load balancer it is applied, how basically resources which Shield is applied, how many attacks it is got, and how many team it got attack. I mean, what kind of response it is attack given. So all these kind of information will be in this dashboard here. Okay. As I mentioned here, right, you would be creating a groups. The group can be EC2, ELB, or S3, Lambda, RDS, all these. You can apply here. You can create a group with these resources, and then you can apply Shield for this entire group itself. So, and once you have created a groups, you would protections you have given for them, for that group. You would get all this kind of information in this protected resources here, and what kind of event is happened, and from where, what is the current state, and what kind of AWS resources, what is the state, is it getting affected, not affected, what kind of attack it is, when it is, and how much time it is happened. Every event will be given under the events information here. And global threat dashboard means, as we have seen here, how much DDoS attacks has occurred to AWS resources on each and every day. Okay, if you see here, October 7th, it was in peak, almost a 24,000 requests was handled. Okay, if you see here, day by day, everything was being somewhat uh, reduced. If you see here, almost on exclusively for, I mean, we don't predict the exact days, but it depends. It's at what time it will be doing, on what everything would be doing. Okay. This is what all about the AWS Shield here. Only the major thing is AWS WAF will be applied on a generic type of attacks, kind of, not only DDoS. It can also apply for a couple of things like SQL injections, OS commands, injections, cross-site scripting, request forgery attacks, brute forcing, rate limits, these kind of attacks, and including DOS attacks also. But in case of AWS Shield here, it will be used for managing or mitigating the DDoS attacks. These are the major two things in AWS resources. Okay. Yeah, I think this is it, guys, for today. I think I'm somewhat fine today with this. Let's continue tomorrow, because I mean, I can spend some time today only on this. If I start talking again, I'll be get pain. So I'm just stopping it here today. Let's continue tomorrow. That's it, guys. Any questions, either Kaushik or what? Kaushik, Kiran, any questions on this? Have you watched our previous video about the AWS WAF? If please watch it. For sure, it will be helpful you. At least it will give, even if you don't learn of practice, just watch out this video, because sometimes in interviews you need to talk, or at least you will be understanding if someone asking a question related to the security aspect. Okay, that's why this would be helpful. That's it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah, tomorrow 7:30 a.m. Thank you.
Okay.